Rebranding and reshaping your practice is critical for financial advisors. But why is it so hard? We're joined today by John Kozik to discuss. John, welcome.
Thank you.
So John, tell me, you've gone through this whole process of rebranding. What made you do it?
Where do you start? It's a long process. We got some tremendous help with Peak, Carson. Joe and Mindy in particular were really instrumental in helping me just go through that whole thought process. What are we going to do? How are we going to do this? Asking me the questions. We settled on 22 Wealth Management, which from a marketing standpoint, the best thing about that name is the client that says, what is 22?
What does
it stand for?
Yeah.
And so it's a dream company name from that aspect. And then it just, as I was going through this with Joe, the whole thought process went with 22 was my favorite number when I was growing up, still is.
Sure.
And every sporting event I've ever participated in, baseball, hockey, football, that was my jersey number. That was what I wore. And then I started to go through this more with Joe and Mindy, and I realized, it's more than that. It's a story about me. Mm-hmm. I'm a Southside Chicago Polish kid that grew up in, a great neighborhood, a great family, and that's really what it all kind of stood for. It stood for me doing the best job that I could possibly do with whatever I do.
And the name 22 stands out because
yes.
How many firms in this industry are Lighthouse or
Cornerstone?
Yes,
or something granite.
Yes,
or
Pathstone or
right.
Yes, everyone has 100 of those names. So
Absolutely.
you stood out a little bit by having something different.
I didn't realize it in the beginning until I started going through the process and talking to clients about it, and they're like, "Well, what is it? What is the name for?"
Yeah.
So it actually kind of evolved though when I went through the name from me to then I started to think, well, this is more about my employees now. It's about my company. It's about what we do. It's about the care we provide to our clients. So what we're going is, it was me in the beginning, and now it's turned to us as a firm and what we do for our clients and just doing the best job that we can.
And it must make succession planning easier for you then too, as you think about like what's next. By having a brand that isn't necessarily attached to your name, it makes the next generation easier.
That was really the catalyst for it, is to go away from something that was tied to me and my name, and now it's a little bit more generic. And if it's a lead into the succession question, because that's another thing I'd love to talk about.
Yeah, please tell me about your succession strategy.
We get bombarded all the time with emails and conversations from the broker-dealer about, hey, you've got to have this type of plan in place. And naturally, I'm in my 50s, and people say, well, you don't have to necessarily worry about it now, and I disagree. I think now is the time to get this process started. Wholeheartedly, I have a feeling that there'll be some mistakes along the way. There's going to be some hiccups, some hurdle I haven't planned for. But if I got 15 years, and that's kind of gray on when I'm going to exit, but the bottom line is I have to be prepared to make a mistake. So my particular plan is going to go something like this. My son is going to come into the business. He's going to join our firm in a couple of months. I couldn't be more excited about that. So he's coming along from a growth standpoint to just really kind of help us to do a better job now and today. But from the succession standpoint, it's hard not to vision that next tier of advisors led by him and his group.
Right.
And then, just think about it from a client standpoint. Now they get more acclimated to seeing him around the office and that second tier of advisors, and they've met him, and 5 years has gone by, 10 years has gone by, and now when the letter or the phone call comes to say John's going to retire, they're going to say, well, we're just going to get taken care of by the next group.
By a great advisor. Yeah. Now, you guys, it's amazing to see you really thinking about the future. You've been in this industry for 25 years. Yeah. What drives you? What keeps you so engaged?
You know what? It's been an interesting run. When I look back, and I do a lot of reflecting, I'm getting older, so it's hard not to look back and realize, how fortunate and how did you get to be where you're at today. And it's really an interesting story because I've been blessed with a lot of mentors throughout my career, and some of them got introduced to me really early on, sophomore in high school, that people make subtle comments and then you realize that they change your life. And then, I got family members as mentors that helped grow my business, and then clients as mentors, which is really kind of an interesting concept. I mean, how do you have a client that's also a mentor? It's kind of a different dynamic. but some clients that have really helped me not make some significant business mistakes. It was nice that, that they were there for that. And then I'm going to be, it's a Carson conference here, but I have to tell you, my relationship with this group here is just short of fantastic. I mean, every single introduction that I've had with Carson, from a leadership level, Ron and Laura and West, and the marketing with with Joe and Mindy, and then my coaching relationships that I have with Holly, and now I've got Scott Wood, and some things that Greg Opitz have done and Aaron have done to just kind of help me. They're a mentor collectively,
Absolutely.
And Ron always talks about the inflection point, and when I look back at my inflection points and those different things that were tough for me, there was always a mentor that was there to really just kind of help me get through it.
Well, that's amazing. Some great lessons on reshaping, building a practice, and good luck to your Cubs.
Good. Yeah, thank you for that.
Thanks so much,
Yeah.
John. Appreciate it. For Investment News, I'm Matt Ackerman.